Welcome to my Vision News. Some news stories for you. First one is about Teddy Afro, Ethiopian singer who is doing some concerts these days in US. It seems Teddy Afro cannot live without sharing controversial material in his songs. His songs had political content in the past too. So while he is in the US performing, there he sang about Addis Ababa, Ethiopian capital, and some of the lyrics, some of his words are seen as criticism of Oromia region based groups, Oromos. What did he say about Addis Ababa, Ethiopian capital? Secondly, viewers, after Vallega incident which happened around a week ago when hundreds of civilians were killed, some Oromos, majority of killed was Oromos reportedly. After that, we're seeing a campaign in the Oromia region for boycott of some products which are manufactured by two Amhara businessmen or two businessmen who are close to Amhara regional government, Ethiopian federal government. Who are these two Ethiopian businessmen who are millionaires, and which brands are mentioned about which a boycott campaign is underway? Thirdly, viewers, Eritrean information minister today criticized the Economist reporter. The Economist around 48 hours ago published an article saying that Isaias Afwerki is spoiler-in-chief in the Horn of Africa. So this title to Isaias Afwerki was granted by Economist reporter. His name is Tom Gardner, and then Yamane today responded to this article. Firstly, viewers, Teddy Afro, one of the most popular Ethiopian singers, is performing in US these days. He started from Denver. His first concert was in Denver. And he sang about Addis Ababa at his concert. We know that in the past, Teddy Afro's lyrics had some political messages too. People say that he is basically an Amhara nationalist, not an Ethiopian nationalist. But his followers, his fans say that he is a true Ethiopian nationalist. His songs praised Menelik, Haile Selassie, and other Ethiopian emperors. And in a song a few months ago, he criticized indirectly PM Abiy's Green Legacy project and PM Abiy's mega projects. In the US, he is singing about Addis Ababa. I want to share his lyrics with you. I leave it to you to decide. Are these lyrics controversial? He said about Addis Ababa, "Your old name was Addis Ababa. You were home for all, Addis Ababa. How fast they say you are mine." Who is he referring to? How fast they say you are mine. Isn't he implying that some factions in the Oromia region, they unfairly claim that Addis Ababa is part of Oromia? That is what he seems to be saying. And we know that this conflict is ongoing at Addis Ababa schools. Issue of hoisting of Oromia region's flag and singing of Oromia region's anthem is becoming a dispute, and we are seeing protests, clashes at schools. Police arrested hundreds of people reportedly, students, teachers, some Balderas party members too. So it's an ongoing issue, though it's a long issue. It's an old issue, old dispute. he seems to be criticizing those who say that Oromia owns Addis Ababa. Of course, other ethnic groups living in Addis Ababa, they say Addis Ababa is a federal capital. It should be a federal capital. But some factions, some groups in Oromia, they say that Addis Ababa is both a regional capital and a federal capital too. And what is OLA's, Oromo Liberation Army's stated objective? Finfine. OLA calls it Finfine. OLA calls Addis Ababa Finfine. OLA wants to reach Addis Ababa Finfine. It means that some factions in the Oromia region, armed, unarmed, they maintain this position that Addis Ababa is part of Oromia. Yes, it's a federal capital too, but it's part of Oromia. And Teddy Afro seems to be criticizing those groups, those people who hold this position that Addis Ababa is part of Oromia. Maybe he wants to appease his Amhara following. That is why he came up with this controversial material in his song about Addis Ababa. Secondly, viewers, a campaign is being seen, especially in the Oromia region, by Oromo diaspora as well for the boycott of some products being manufactured by two Ethiopian businessmen who are seen close to PM Abiy, and people accuse them of working for Amhara interests. The two businessmen are Belayneh Kinde, firstly, and secondly, Worku Aytenew. Worku Aytenew was a very staunch supporter of Fano as well. We saw him clad in military uniform last year. He funded Fano, he funded militias. Both have their presences in neighboring regions too, not only in Amhara, but in neighboring regions too. They have their investments. In BG, they have their large agricultural farms, and BG's government, some groups in BG government, in BG National Gomas, they have been opposing investments and presence of these two businessmen in Benishangul Gum region. And they say that in BG, these two, especially Worku, are backing formation, mobilization of foreign fighters, militias there. These two businessmen are definitely manufacturing several products. A campaign is underway for the boycott of these products. Firstly, Sport, which is a bottled water brand of Belayneh Kinde. Campaign underway for the boycott of Sport. Secondly, oils made by the two factories, Va Industrial Complex and Fabila Industrial Complex. These two companies are owned by Worku Aytenew and Belayneh Kinde. So a campaign is underway in Oromia that Oromo should not buy oil made by Fabila and Va Industrial Complex, and campaign for boycott of Sport bottled water brand as well. The two businessmen are being accused that they fuel the conflicts, they back Amhara interests, they fund militias in Amhara region, and the militias involved in attacks on Oromos in Valaga. So this campaign is linked to the killing of Oromos in Valaga, which happened around a week ago. Lastly, viewers, 2 days ago, The Economist published an article about Isaias Afwerki, about Eritrea, about the Horn of Africa. Tom Gardner is Economist reporter. He was in Ethiopia a few months ago during the war, second round of the war. He was in Ethiopia working as Economist reporter here. A few months ago, he was expelled. Ethiopian government expelled him. Now, reportedly, he is based in Kenya. He works from Kenya, like some other international journalists who have been expelled from Ethiopia and they work from Kenya. And Tom Gardner wrote this article 2 days ago. And in that article, He used the title spoiler in chief for Isaias Afwerki. Isaias Afwerki, Eritrean president, is spoiler in chief in the Horn of Africa. He will not change his course. He has backing of Russia and China. That is why Yamane Gabriel-Maskell, Information Minister of Eritrea, today spoke criticizing Tom Gardner. Yamane said, the Economist reporter is a hired and notorious TPLF lobbyist who works to protect TPLF's interests, and has been doing it for years. Yamane rejected the story published by Economist 2 days ago. This is what we see whenever an international news outlet, some international journal, magazine, newspaper shares anything about Eritrea, criticizes Eritrea. We see similar response from Yamane, from Information Minister of Eritrea. They reject the stories and they say these reporters, news outlets are working against Eritrea. They are backed by this and that. So again, what we have been seeing, again, the same pattern goes on. And Eritrean government only believes in the reporting of Haddas, which is the only newspaper which is allowed to be printed in Eritrea. And it is state-owned. One newspaper, one television station, one radio station in Eritrea. And what they report is truth. Whatever others report is against Eritrea. Why is that Yamane does not challenge the reporting of these outlets on merit? He should question the reporting in terms of pointing out the errors made by reporters, by analysts. But he categorically rejects entire report. That is what he does whenever something is printed in international media or said in international media about Eritrea. Thank you for watching.